In the beautiful green country of Kenya, there lives a group of people known for their great courage. These are the Nandi people. They are a proud part of the larger Kalenjin community, a family of peoples who share similar languages and traditions. The Nandi have always been known for their strength and determination. For many generations, they have lived in the rolling hills and fertile valleys of what is now called Nandi County. This land is not just a place to live, it is a part of who they are. Their stories and songs are filled with the spirit of these highlands, a place that shaped them into the resilient people they are today. The air is fresh, the soil is rich, and the history is deep. The home of the Nandi is truly a special place. Imagine endless green fields of tea stretching across the hills. The altitude is high, giving the land a cool and pleasant climate. This environment was perfect for their traditional way of life, which was centered around farming and raising cattle. The Nandi people developed a deep connection to their land, understanding its seasons and its secrets. This connection gave them a strong sense of belonging and independence. They did not just live on the land, they lived with it. This relationship with their home in the highlands became the foundation of their identity and their unshakable spirit. It was a source of strength that they would draw upon in the challenging times to come. The Nandi are famous for their warrior identity. This was not just about fighting, it was a core part of their culture and social structure. Young men were trained from an early age to be brave, disciplined, and protective of their community. They learned important skills for survival and defense, and they took great pride in their role as guardians. This warrior tradition was essential for protecting their land, their cattle, and their families from any threats. It created a society that was organized, strong, and ready to defend its way of life. This strong sense of duty and honor defined what it meant to be a Nandi warrior and prepared them for the greatest challenge they would ever face. Before the arrival of outsiders, the Nandi had a rich and complete world of their own. Their culture was vibrant, filled with unique traditions, ceremonies, and a distinct language. Their stories were passed down from one generation to the next, teaching children about their history, their values, and their heroes. They had their own systems of government and laws, guided by elders and wise leaders. This strong cultural foundation gave them a powerful sense of unity and pride. It was this deep-rooted identity that made them so resistant to any force that tried to change or control them. Their traditions were their strength, and they were not willing to give them up easily. In the late 1800s, a new challenge arrived in Kenya. The British colonialists came with plans to build a railway line right through the heart of Nandi territory. This was known as the Uganda Railway. For the Nandi, this was not just a railway, it was an invasion. It was a foreign power trying to take control of their ancestral lands without permission. Their warrior spirit, which had protected them for centuries, was awakened. They saw the railway as a threat to their independence, their culture, and their entire way of life. The Nandi people decided that they would not stand by and watch. They chose to resist, marking the beginning of a long and difficult struggle. The Nandi resistance was one of the fiercest and most prolonged in the history of British colonial expansion in East Africa. For over a decade, the Nandi warriors fought bravely to defend their homeland. They used their deep knowledge of the local terrain to their advantage. They would launch surprise attacks on the railway construction crews and British patrols, disrupting their progress and showing their determination. The Nandi warriors were skilled in guerrilla warfare, using the hills and forests as their allies. They fought with incredible courage, refusing to be intimidated by the superior power of the British Empire. Their resistance became a symbol of defiance for many other communities in the region. One of the biggest difficulties the Nandi faced was their lack of modern weapons. The British soldiers were armed with powerful rifles and machine guns like the Maxim gun. In contrast, the Nandi warriors fought with their traditional weapons, sharp spears, shields made of animal hide, and bows with arrows. This difference in technology was a huge disadvantage. Yet, what the Nandi lacked in firepower, they made up for in bravery, strategy, and a powerful will to protect their freedom. They were not fighting for an empire, they were fighting for their homes, their families, and their very existence, which gave them a strength that guns alone could not defeat. The resistance was not just a series of battles, it was a unified effort by the entire Nandi community. Everyone played a role. The warriors fought on the front lines, while the elders provided wisdom and guidance. Women and children supported the effort by providing food, gathering intelligence, and maintaining the community's spirit. This unity was their greatest weapon. It showed that the resistance was not just the work of a few fighters, but the collective will of a whole people. They stood together, bound by a common purpose, to remain free and to protect the land that their ancestors had entrusted to them. This collective spirit made their resistance incredibly powerful and difficult to break. At the heart of the Nandi resistance was a remarkable leader named Koitalel Arap Samoei. He was not just a military commander, he was the Orkoyot, the supreme spiritual and political leader of the Nandi people. He was believed to have the power to see into the future and to communicate with the spirits of their ancestors. The Nandi people trusted him completely. Koitalel was a wise and charismatic leader who understood the great threat posed by the British. He had a vision for his people, a vision of a future where they remained independent and in control of their own destiny. His leadership was the glue that held the resistance together. Koitalel Arap Samoei organized and inspired the Nandi warriors. He used his spiritual authority to unite the different Nandi clans, making them a single, formidable fighting force. He prophesied that a great black snake would come, spitting fire and smoke, and that it would tear through their land. The people understood this to mean the railway. He warned them that if they let this snake pass, their lands would be lost forever. This powerful message motivated the warriors to fight with even greater determination. Koitalel was a master strategist, planning raids and guiding his warriors with wisdom that seemed almost supernatural to his followers and enemies alike. The British colonial authorities quickly realized that Koitalel was the main obstacle to their plans. They saw him as the source of all their troubles in Nandi country. They tried many times to defeat his warriors in battle, but the Nandi, under Koitalel's guidance, were too elusive and resilient. The British grew frustrated by the constant disruptions to their railway project, which was costing them a lot of time and money. They decided that the only way to end the Nandi resistance was to remove its leader. Koitalel became a wanted man, a symbol of defiance that the British Empire was determined to crush at any cost. The story of Koitalel has a tragic end. In October 1905, the British commander, Colonel Richard Meinertzagen, invited Koitalel to a peace meeting. Koitalel, hoping to find a peaceful solution, agreed to attend. However, it was a trap. When Koitalel and his advisors arrived for the negotiation, they were ambushed and killed. The death of their beloved leader was a devastating blow to the Nandi people. With their Orkoyot gone, the spirit of the resistance was broken. Although the fighting eventually came to an end, the memory of Koitalel Arap Samoei and his incredible bravery would never be forgotten. He became a martyr for his people's freedom. Even though the armed resistance ended over a century ago, the story of the Nandi warriors continues to inspire people today. Their legacy is not one of defeat, but one of immense courage and pride. The Nandi people remember their ancestors not as victims, but as heroes who stood up against a mighty empire to defend their way of life. This history has become a central part of Nandi identity. It teaches the younger generations about the importance of courage, unity, and protecting one's heritage. The stories of Koitalel and the warriors are told and retold, keeping their brave spirit alive in the hearts of the community. The legacy of the Nandi resistance is visible in modern Kenya. The Nandi people are still known for their strength and resilience, qualities that are often seen in their world-famous athletes. Many of Kenya's greatest long-distance runners come from Nandi County, and some say their incredible endurance is a continuation of the warrior spirit. The story of Koitalel Arap Samoei is now taught in schools across Kenya as an example of heroic leadership and resistance against colonialism. His name is honored, and his statue stands as a reminder of the price that was paid for freedom and dignity in the face of oppression. The unique culture of the Nandi people has also endured. They have managed to hold on to their language, their traditions, and their social structures, even after the profound changes brought by colonialism. They still practice important ceremonies and celebrate their cultural heritage with great pride. This cultural resilience is a testament to the strength of the community and their determination to keep their identity alive. It shows that even though their political independence was lost for a time, their cultural soul was never conquered. Their traditions continue to connect them to their past and guide them into the future. In conclusion, the story of the Nandi warriors and their resistance is a powerful chapter in the history of Kenya. It is a story of a brave community that dared to challenge an empire. It highlights their deep connection to their land, the wisdom of their leader Koitalel Arap Samoei, and their unbreakable spirit. Today, this legacy is a source of immense pride, not just for the Nandi people, but for all who value courage and the fight for freedom. The brave warriors of the highlands have left behind an enduring lesson that the spirit of a people who are united and determined can never truly be extinguished.